Welcome to USL League One Year 3. Tonight from Dry Pink Stadium in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Fort Lauderdale CF and New England Revolution to open the American men's domestic pro soccer season. I'm Josh Eastern, so excited to be with you tonight to raise the curtains on another year of USL League One soccer. We've waited 168 days since October the 24th, the last day of the regular season in 2020, and here we are tonight. And the teams, Fort Lauderdale CF, let's take a look back at 2020, their League One debut under Jason Kreis. And it was an interesting season for them, finishing 4-9-3. They did have some bright spots, but just 4 points from their final 8 games. But one of those bright spots, Felipe Valencia, the youngest USL goal scorer, breaking Alphonso Davies' record. And as they come into this year, the average age of this roster just over 20 years old, and they're returning 13 players from that roster a season ago, trying to build on some of that positive momentum. And Darren Powell spent some time in the USL Championship with San Antonio. He's the head man this year for Fort Lauderdale. On the other side, another debutant in 2020, New England Revolution 2, under the tutelage of Clint P.A. in 2020. 5-8-3. They also finished towards the bottom of the League One table. It was a tough start for them, 1-6-2. They couldn't really score many goals, but as the season wore on, Justin Rennick's brought up from the first team, and they ended the season 4-2-1. Also, they had 3 players sign with the first team, that pathway to pro, and they returned 12 players entering this 2021 season. So that's the teams coming into this year, and we are just about set to go from Fort Lauderdale. We start another season in USL League One. It's year 3. Fort Lauderdale and New England kick it off right after this. Back here at Dry Pink Stadium in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It's Fort Lauderdale CF and New England Revolution 2 to start this USL League One campaign tonight here on April the 10th. And there's a look at Edison Azcona signing a homegrown contract with Inter Miami, but playing tonight for Fort Lauderdale. Let's hear from Darren Powell, but first, Edison Azcona.
I think because there's a lot of young players, we all kind of mix well together, and it's easier, and I feel more comfortable too, like playing with them, and I like it, and we're gonna keep improving together.
Yeah, I think, look, every game at this stage of the year is fresh for everybody. It's their first game, and it's our first game, it's New England's first game, and I think everybody's had a long off season and just looking forward to that competitive battle against an opponent.
So here's Darren Powell's first lineup of 2021. Some new faces. Luis Zamudio coming over from North Texas. He will be in goal. Made 4 starts with North Texas. Sean Hundahl is up top tonight, coming over from TFC 2, also spending time in the Canadian Premier League. And of course, Edison Azcona slotting in on the left as well. Now for New England, there's a look at Darren Powell first in his pink shirt, of course, fitting the occasion. And there's a look at Ryan Spalding. He is in the starting 11 tonight for New England. Let's hear from him along with Clint P.A.
I think last season my performances kind of went up and down a little too much for my liking, and this year I'm just trying to be someone that the team can rely on, the coaches can rely on every game, whether that's defensively or offensively. I think the coaches have been working with me this offseason and the preseason, just really structurally getting involved in the attack and starting to get some good plays at it.
Here's a look at Clint P.A.'s starting 11 tonight. Up top, a couple of familiar faces from the USL Championship and MLS. Ryan Sierakowski, a new signing, along with Justin Rennicks. Joe Rice also in goal tonight for New England Revolution 2, along with Noel Buck making his pro debut. Tonight's referee, Elvis Osmanovic, and we are just about set to go. Fort Lauderdale going left to right, New England going right to left. Here we go. Welcome to USL League One Year 3. We are underway in 2021. New England Revolution 2, Fort Lauderdale CF from Drive Pink Stadium. Both teams trying to capitalize off debut seasons in 2020. Of course, we went through their records a year ago. It was New England finishing 5-8-3 in 9th place, Fort Lauderdale 4-9-3 in 10th place. So let's see what gives tonight when these two teams met in 2020 on October the 9th. It was a 4-1 win for New England Revolution 2 at Gillette Stadium. Firmino, Rennick, Spalding, and Mendonça all scoring goals on that night. It was a pretty dominating performance for Clint P.A.'s side, but Fort Lauderdale CF trying to get back at their opponents tonight in this League One home opener. Get it wide. First opportunity coming for Abel Caputo. Fort Lauderdale in black, New England in all white. Cross coming in, the header glancing there at the near post. And not too far away as it's headed out of play. Good opportunity from Sean Hundal. Another look at it here, just getting into that wide position. A good ball in. It was a free header there at the near post for Hundal. Just couldn't steer it on frame. Christian Liu Young. Another one of those players returning from a year ago. Spent some time at Akron as well. Definitely something of note tonight in the starting 11 for Fort Lauderdale. Ethan Harden starting alongside his brother Drew. The West Palm Beach natives. There's a giveaway. But Fort Lauderdale able to recover. Liu Young slotting into that right back position tonight for Darren Powell. Pretty comfortable weather day in Fort Lauderdale. Nothing really to speak of in terms of inclement weather. It's a beautiful sunny day. As Rice distributes there from the back. Or pardon me, Zamudio from the back. Here's Rivera. And another giveaway there in the midfield. Well, we talked with Clint P.A. about the preseason for New England Revolution 2. Said they started all the way back on February 15th. So they've been going at it for quite some time. About 2 months here before this season opener tonight. And he said the biggest challenge was that other teams didn't get to start that early. They couldn't schedule too many preseason games. Here as Hundal gets into the box, trying to turn the corner. Cross comes through, stabbed away. And tripped there on the edge of the box. This will be a free kick coming for Fort Lauderdale. That's Noel Buck tripping Abel Caputo. And a free kick coming for Fort Lauderdale CF. Here's another look at it. Just a clumsy challenge there by Buck, leaving that left foot in. A lunging challenge, and now a free kick. George Acosta alongside Noah Allen. 2 starts a year ago for Noah Allen. And let's see who decides to swing this in, an in-swinger or an out-swinger. Sure to test Joe Rice here in the opening 4 minutes. It'll be Acosta, he goes for goal. Punched down by Rice, and a pretty easy save here in the opening few minutes for the New England netminder. Of course, Joe Rice, his 3rd season in USL League One, spending 2019 with Richmond, 3 appearances and 2 starts in 2019 for the Kickers. A year ago, made 9 starts, but missed that latter half of the season due to injury. But he is back and ready to go here for the 2021 campaign. It was Drew Harden on the ball for Fort Lauderdale before it was knocked out of play. Now Lou Young to throw it back in. Lou Young. Hundal taken off the ball. And Buck just clears this away. On the other side, the preseason for Fort Lauderdale. Of course, some of these players mixing in with the first team as well. Phil Neville taking charge of Inter Miami here in 2021. Coming over from the England women's national team, and Jason Kreis moving up to be an assistant with Neville for the first team, and that allowed Darren Powell, who did spend some time a season ago coaching this Fort Lauderdale side as well. That was O'Hearn going airborne and over the back of Hundal. But they said, Powell told us they played Toronto FC a week ago. Some under-17s were able to play in that game. They've had quite a long preseason as well, and both these teams they were ready to play somebody other than their teammates. And we even talked to Clint Piet, who told us that some of these players were training with the first team, New England Revolution, out in Los Angeles during their preseason, and were flown straight here to South Florida for this game here tonight. So some of them haven't even played with these teammates in 2021. Here's Christian Lou Young, all the way to the end line. His cross into the middle. Hundal again in the box, as Kona will come to collect. It's Presley who actually starts on that right side tonight. He had spent some time at left back with the first team during the preseason, and the offside flag coming up. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of USL Championship, League One, and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Well, I'm talking with Clint Piet. The big question, I guess, that he's asking his players coming out of last year is, where do we want to be stronger with the approach and mentality? That's kind of their big mantra coming into this year, is just trying to build on what they did a year ago, and those expectations being raised just a little bit more. Finishing in the bottom half of the table, but as we saw in our pregame, they finished 4-2-1, and that had a lot to do with Justin Renix, who made 8 appearances, scored 4 goals, had 1 assist. That was all in the last 8 games of the season for Justin Renix. And of course, Renix in the starting 11 tonight, wearing number 12 in white. There he is on the ball. coming into this game, both coaches telling us they were a bit in the dark on what the other side was going to look like. They said they would look at a little bit of film from last year, saying there's maybe a general idea of some of the tactics they used. But aside from that, it was kind of a wait and see type of ordeal. Here comes Fort Lauderdale forward again. That's a handball on Hundal. He's been pretty active here in the opening few minutes, Sean Hundal, out of Brampton, Ontario, 21 years of age. Here's another look at the handball. Yep. Pretty easy call for Elvis Osmanovic. And Joe Rice will get it rolling again. For that long ball over the top. Zamudio is there to claim it for Fort Lauderdale. The two goalkeepers on the roster for Darren Powell, Andre Zuluaga, Luis Zamudio, who gets the start tonight. Zuluaga, just 17 years old, made 4 starts a year ago. He is on the bench tonight. But it was Dylan Castanjera who started mostly in goal in 2020 for Fort Lauderdale. He signed with Inter Miami, the first team, so still here with the program. And Zamudio, who is originally from Las Vegas, Nevada, but spent 4 years in the academy of Club America. Spent the 1920 season with them. Fort Lauderdale looking to play out of the back here. Good ball to find space for Christian Liu Young. Plays it up for Harden. That's Drew Harden. And be specific with Ethan and Drew in the starting 11 tonight. It's Drew wearing 12, Ethan wearing 5. Here's Rivera. He was a big part of what New England did a season ago with 14 appearances, made 9 starts as well. The big focus for Clint P.A., though, is preparing his players to be ready from minute 1, and important to have that right message, that right from the get-go they have to be ready to go, as Spalding sends in a cross. That's taken by Zamudio. And that's a similar mantra to what Darren Powell was telling us about, that he's telling his team that they need to play with intensity for 90 minutes, saying that's the most important thing I want to see out of his team tonight. You always wonder coming into that first game where fitness levels are at, even though some of these players are so young and they've been in preseason for quite some time as well, as that ball did go out past the far touchline. Elvis Osmanovic maybe a quick talking to there with Noah Allen. Jake Rosansky on the ball. The Maryland Terrapin signing just a few weeks ago on March 26th after over 83 pro appearances in Israel. He's slotting right into that starting 11 tonight for Clint P.A. Spalding will clip this forward again, looking for the run of Sierakowski through the middle. And a slight deflection will take this back for Zamudio again. Maybe a couple half chances here in the opening few minutes for New England. Fort Lauderdale has had a free kick. Sean Hundall's had a free header as well. Still looking for that opening goal. Throw-in will go New England's way. That was Francois Dulis coming up, the 51st pick in the 2021 draft. He also played in Olympic qualifiers for Haiti just a few weeks ago. Switch of play by Rivera looking for Connor Presley. Presley, who spent a couple of years under Darren Powell playing with San Antonio FC back in 2017 and 2018. Presley back for year 2 with Revs 2. Zansky gets this wide for Spalding. Fujiwara, now Rivera. Hundall trying to start this counterattack. The through ball just a little bit too far for the run of Edison Azcona. He's already been busy in this preseason, Edison Azcona, playing in World Cup qualifiers with the Puerto Rican national team, under the tutelage of Dave Sarakin and former Madison head coach Daryl Shore, who's an assistant. Here comes Fort Lauderdale again. Acosta going down right at the top of the box. Elvis Osmanovic says play on. And maybe a chance for New England to counter. Here's Spalding. Coming centrally for Rivera. Just not the right angle on that pass for Justin Rennicks. Clint P.A. choosing to play with that 4-4-2, those two target strikers. Maybe even Rennicks moving off to that right side. Sierakowski playing through the middle and Rivera slotting in on the left at times. Here's Allen getting forward. His cross towards the near post. Dulis heads it away. Chested back in. Maybe an appeal for a handball. It was Fujiwara used his shoulder there just to knock that back in, and it trickles all the way out for a throw-in. Here's Harden. He goes to ground. Referee says play on again. Damian Rivera weaving through the defense before it's won back by Modesto Mendez. A lot of possession so far for Fort Lauderdale. Here's Christian Liu Young. Taken off the ball by Spalding. A lot of possession shouldn't be much of a surprise. Fort Lauderdale a season ago had the most passes in League One and the best passing accuracy at 83%. An impressive season in possession for Fort Lauderdale, and they win their first corner. Something I'm sure Darren Powell has on his mind is the amount of clean sheets that they had a year ago is just one. So trying to build on that number here in 2021 as Noah Allen comes in now to take this corner, the first of the match. And whip this all the way to the back post. Free header there at the back post and headed wide. That's 2 free headers already for Fort Lauderdale and have not been able to convert on either. And New England put it back in play quickly. Gonna play this down the line. Good sliding challenge there by Ethan Harden. Like the second most minutes of academy players for Fort Lauderdale a season ago. 13 appearances, 11 starts, and made his debut in early August. Fort Lauderdale win it back, and they look to get forward, maybe with numbers if they get this right. Trying to play it into space down the left. Long run for Noah Allen, as long as Francois Dulis just knocks this out of play. Dulis, who spent some time in USL League 2 with the Treasure Coast Tritons, did his college soccer at Manhattan. Here's Lou Young again down this right side. He's gotten into advanced positions quite a bit so far. Harden. Low cross. Knocked away. As far as Caputo. Caputo tees one up. Has his shot blocked down. Throwing now on the near side for Fort Lauderdale. Made forward by Acosta. They're going to say that's a handball. Here's a look at Clint PA, his second season with Revs 2, of course, in year number 2 for the Revs. And he learned a lot about himself as a coach from a year ago, just trying to get the most out of these players from minute one, and how you get the most out of these players, especially when they're so young, beaming with potential. How do you phrase your messaging and how do you get your message across to these players? It's always so important, especially when you're coaching young players. This ball's put out of play. Here's Renix, weaving through a couple of defenders and finding some space before this one's put out. Don't miss any USL League One action in 2021. Follow the league and your club all year long by searching for Fort Lauderdale on ESPN.com. Search for your club and then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Plus, get reminders on your team's next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club. See some of the players just shaking off some rust here in the opening 22.5 minutes, right at the midway point of this first half. To find the run of Caputo, who just drifted into an offside position. Abel Caputo, an interesting story. Originally from Venezuela, but went to high school down in Doral in Miami at Reagan High School. Then spent the 1920 season in Belgium playing for KSV Roeselare. And this is his first season back in the pro ranks in the United States, and finds himself back in South Florida for Darren Powell's Fort Lauderdale side, slotting into the opening day starting 11. A couple of pro debuts as well for New England with Noel Buck and Francois Dulis. Definitely some players missing tonight from New England Revolution 2 due to injury. Colby Quinones, Thiago Mendonça, just to name a couple. Those two definitely will play big parts as this season goes on. They played big parts a year ago for Clint PA. Spalding. This is centrally for Rivera. And now it's Harden. As his pass intercepted by Presley. Goes to ground and then loses it. Here's Azcona. Haven't seen much of him through the opening 25 minutes. Starting on that left side tonight. All over the top, Allen. Low cross in, looking for the run of Caputo, and it's stabbed out for a Fort Lauderdale throw-in. Fort Lauderdale's been trying to utilize both of those flanks. Allen and Lou Young definitely getting into the attack so far tonight. Both of the starting fullbacks for Fort Lauderdale. And here's Allen again. And winning a corner kick. Second of the night now for Fort Lauderdale. Looks like this will be Edison Azcona. Second team All-League a year ago in USL League One, Edison Azcona. He'll give it up now for George Acosta now. This will be an in-swinger. Lofting ones towards goal. Joe Rice colliding with Abel Caputo. And a free kick awarded New England's way. Another look at it here. Good whip on that ball, just a little bit too close, a little bit too much air under it as well. To Joe Rice. Rice, a miss kick, just puts this straight out of play. Here's Rivera. Buck places back for Spalding. Fort Lauderdale trying to press and win the ball back. Everything this Revolution 2 side does under the watchful eye of Bruce Arena. The first team head coach for the New England Revolution said he thought last year was very successful overall with having Revs 2 into the fold, but nowhere near where it could be in terms of roster fluidity. Of course, very tough with the COVID-19 pandemic, of course, still going on, but they expect to have a little bit more fluidity with the two rosters this year and getting players starts if they need minutes, if they're coming back from injury, or a player like Justin Rennicks who can thrive at this level, maybe gain some confidence to bring up to the MLS side as well. Same goes for Fort Lauderdale and Phil Neville with Inter Miami. Trying to play this down the line for Rennicks. Good ball in behind. Justin Rennicks all the way to the end line, puts on the brakes. An appeal for handball. Instead, New England gets a corner kick. This is their first corner of the night. Karu Fujiwara be the one to take this. 10 appearances a season ago. Spent a couple of years with Revolution Academy as well. That'll be an in-swinger from Fujiwara. Good whip on this. Too tall, though, for everybody, including Francois Doulis, one of the center backs who was brought up. Now Allen is trying to clear this away. And a late challenge coming in from Jake Rosansky. And he'll get a talking to from Elvis Osmanovic, taking down George Acosta. A little bit too late there from Rosansky. Germantown, Maryland native, 24 years of age, who Rosansky led the U.S. to the gold medal in the 2017 Maccabia Games, also won the Golden Boot in that tournament as well. Played down the line for Azcona. Azcona dancing on the ball. Centering, cleared away by Buck. Quickly won back by Saavedra. Now Presley. Just past the half-hour mark and still looking for that opening goal on USL League One opening night. We raise the curtain on men's pro domestic soccer here in 2021. I'm Josh Eastern. Thanks for joining us wherever you are tuning in from tonight. Of course, MLS gets started next weekend. USL Championship the week after that with a couple of fixtures. And come May, everything will be coming fast and furious, and we'll get right back into the swing of things. In the meantime, a corner kick for Fort Lauderdale again. Another in-swinger coming for Fort Lauderdale. Good whip on this ball as well. Took a bounce in the box. Shot by Harden is blocked down. He's a bit off balance. Just kind of throwing his left foot at it. Fort Lauderdale able to collect towards midfield. Lou Young for Acosta. Switches the play for Allen. Acosta stepping in to win that back. Caputo fouled from behind. Rosansky with a couple of hard challenges here in the past few minutes. And might this be a yellow card or at least one more talking to? I think that's strike 2 there on Rosansky. Strike 3 equals a yellow card, it looks like. And a free kick coming for Fort Lauderdale. Similar spot to that first free kick that Fort Lauderdale had in the opening minutes. Acosta and Allen stand over this again, the two set-piece specialists, it looks like, for Fort Lauderdale. Whether they elect for the in-swinger or the out-swinger. This time it'll be Allen. They'll play this short right off the training ground, and that almost worked to perfection, as Azcona had an open shot there at the top of the box. Just a slight deflection on it from Jake Rosansky. Another look at it here. Just playing that square ball to the top of the box for Azcona. Nobody marking him, but Rosansky was alert to it. Another corner kick for Noah Allen. To the back post, Lou Young. Here's Ascona. Finds himself on this right side this time. Trying to keep possession there. In the meantime, does win a throw-in. At the top again for Allen. It's been a lot of Fort Lauderdale so far in the opening 35 minutes. Definitely been on the front foot. That was pretty much from the opening whistle. Sean Hundahl had a couple of chances in and around the 18-yard box in the opening few minutes. The pressure has continued. Still looking for that opening goal. Rivera, wide for Spalding. Here's Rivera again. Sprays the ball out wide for Presley. A little bit too much on it. Hundahl going down, pushing the back by Noel Buck. We've also been told his brother Joe is another good prospect in the Revolution Academy as well. We might see him feature for the League One side this season. Here's Acosta. Harden's playing through the middle. Instead, he'll find Hundahl off to this right side. Deflecting out for another corner kick. Two center backs, Sean O'Hearn and Francois Dulis, have been very busy so far in central defense for New England tonight. And Acosta starting the attack for Fort Lauderdale again. Noah Allen finding a new select ball to whip in this time from this near side corner. Here's Lou Young. Sending this one in. Spalding will try to prevent another corner. Fort Lauderdale now trying to set up that press. Saavedra, good turn there by Hundahl. And winning another corner kick. Can they make one of these now pay off? Oh, Allen's had to make that run from his left back position quite a bit tonight over to this near side. Fort Lauderdale preferring the in-swinger on these corner kicks. And whip this one in again towards the near post. Dulis was up to meet it. Acosta top of the box, left-footed shot. Sails in about the 10th row. The first of 18 nationally televised regular season games airs Friday, April 30th on ESPN2. Watch as a budding rivalry writes a new chapter at one of the USL Championship's newest venues when Phoenix Rising welcomes San Diego Loyal at 10 p.m. Eastern. It's Phoenix and San Diego on ESPN2, April 30th at 10 p.m. Eastern. And of course, then a few weeks later, it'll be Greenville taking on Union Omaha, the first nationally televised game in League One history. It will be a big day for the league and an exciting match to watch as well. That was a really exciting match a year ago with Omaha going into Greenville towards the end of this season and getting a 2-1 win. If I remember correctly, all 3 goals in that game could have won Goal of the Week throughout the year, but only one of them could. I'm sure we'll get another good matchup on May 16th. And here tonight between Fort Lauderdale and New England, still a stalemate, but it's been Fort Lauderdale on the front foot. And if you're Darren Powell, you have to be the happier of the two managers tonight. The amount of corners and chances they've created tonight definitely outweigh those of New England. Harden for Caputo, just lays this ahead for Lou Young. Deflects out for a goal kick. Well, most of the attack, as we mentioned, has come down the flanks for Fort Lauderdale. So far, 8 open play crosses for them. They have been trying to pick out Sean Hundal in the box quite a bit. We've also seen it on their corner kicks as well. They've had 6 of thus far. We mentioned that passing accuracy for Fort Lauderdale was around 83% a year ago. It's hovering near 87% here through 40 minutes. Been crisp as Kona does get this wide. Low drive off the post, and then the follow-up is wide. Noah Allen found himself in a great spot and nearly finding the opening goal. As Kona, I think he wanted to play this a little bit more out in front. Presley got his foot stuck in, and Allen, a great shot across the box. And Hundal, all he could do was just stick his foot out. And unfortunately for him, it found the end board and not the back of the net. That's the biggest chance of the match so far. Fort Lauderdale unable to convert. Pass that as Kona clips Rice. Asmanovic has a decision to make here. He's both battling for that slow back pass to Joe Rice in goal, who was coming way off his line. Asmanovic is saying no more of that. Here it is again. You could see him try to turn his back at the end, knew that he was in trouble with Joe Rice oncoming. Kona was one of 4 players from a season ago to earn a first-team contract, along with Ian Frey, Felipe Valencia, and Dylan Castanera. He was actually loaned down to Fort Lauderdale tonight, along with George Acosta from the first team. Acosta will try to play this through. O'Hearn almost kept him on side. It was close margins, but he was just a little bit offside, as Kona was. Kona scoring one of the best goals of the season here in this stadium on the other end against Orlando City B a season ago. Part of a 3-goal, 3-assist campaign, and started in all 16 matches for Fort Lauderdale in 2020. Good challenge going to ground just to knock this out by Abel Caputo. Last minute of this first 45 minutes. Stay tuned for halftime. We'll update you on all the happenings around USL League One as we kick off this 2021 campaign. Similar faces in new places, along with teams coming into League One in 2021. Big challenge coming in as Caputo went to ground. Buck getting himself stuck in there. Right at the end of his first 45 minutes. And Elvis Osmanovic will end this first 45 minutes. Nothing to split these two sides after the first half of this League One opener in 2021. Clint P.A. sure has a lot to think about in that halftime locker room. Darren Powell has to be the happier of the two managers, just lacking that finishing touch. And oh yeah, Luis Zamudio hasn't had a whole lot to do so far for Fort Lauderdale, but I think Darren Powell is just okay with that. So we have hit halftime. A couple of chances for Fort Lauderdale have gone begging in that first half. New England, they have been holding strong in defense, but will we get a goal come the second half? It's halftime from Fort Lauderdale. It's Fort Lauderdale 0, it's Revs 2 0. Welcome back to Drive Pink Stadium. Halftime here in the League One opener in 2021. Well, last year's season ended a bit abruptly, so we want to take you back to October 24th. This was the final day of the regular season. Richmond taking on Chattanooga. All Richmond needed was 3 points at home, but Chattanooga had other ideas. Marky Hernandez getting the game-winning goal for the Chattanooga Red Wolves. They take down the Richmond Kickers, and that would send them down the table quite a bit. There was the final whistle. Now, this game happened at about 6:30 Eastern. It started at 6:30 Eastern time. So now we'll take you to Omaha, Nebraska. It was Union Omaha and Fort Lauderdale CF. Great chances for both sides. At first, it would be a chance off the post. That was Evan Conway. Remember Evan Conway's name. We'll hear from him in just a moment. Stayed 0-0. Second half, Eduardo Sosa for Fort Lauderdale trying to play spoiler and off the crossbar. Would have given Fort Lauderdale the lead. And then the moment for Union Omaha. Elma Enfor from his back. Kroll stands it up. Evan Conway just latching on to a bouncing ball, sending Union Omaha up to second spot in the table. We thought it would be a date with Greenville triumph. Of course, that never happened as the season ended on points per game. But Union Omaha still one of the great moments of League One in 2020 in their inaugural season. So then this is how it all shook out in the end. Richmond dropped all the way to 4th. North Texas had a game going on against Tormenta. They thought they still had a chance before Union Omaha won, so it finished Greenville at the top, Omaha second, North Texas, and then Richmond in 4th. It was a crazy end to the season. But then we had to hand out some awards, and we start with the league MVP. It's Emiliano Terzaghi, 10 goals on the season, winning the Golden Boot in his inaugural League One season as well. Came onto the scene with a plum last year. He was really the go-to guy for the Richmond Kickers and a real difference maker for Darren Sawatsky in his first year in Richmond as well. They had a great relationship in 2020. As for assists coming from the champions, you saw that star above the logo, Alex Morel, the League One assists leader. So of course, he's the trivia question. Who scored the first goal in each of the first 2 seasons? It's Alex Morel. He won't get to do that tonight, but he was dishing out plenty of assists a season ago. And his teammate, Dallas J., back-to-back Golden Glove winner in League One. He was fantastic. He had 9 clean sheets a season ago. That was more than half the games where their opponents did not score a goal. Another fantastic year for Dallas J. But here's the goal of the year. Josh Cohn, top bins on the turn. I'm not even sure he was looking at the goal. Halftime rolling on. Well, here is what is new in League One this year. Inaugural member Orlando City B, they will be moving to the MLS Next program and no longer in USL League One. They had a tough go of it in their 2 seasons in the league, but they will be taking their talents to the MLS Next program. And then North Carolina FC, welcome to USL League One. They have reclassified into the league here in 2021. They've had a lot of success in the USL Championship and a really good team down in North Carolina, and excited to see what this team can do in the league this season. Should be an exciting year down there in Cary, North Carolina. So North Carolina joining the league, and Toronto FC too, welcome back to the league. After missing last year due to the COVID-19 pandemic, they are back in the league. They'll start the season in Arizona. They will then move over to Orlando, and then hopefully after Orlando, they can go back up to the BMO training ground, and we can get some of those games mid-afternoon. I know that's a League One favorite, about 4 o'clock on Fridays, a staple throughout the league. Well, here's some news and notes from the league. Of course, North Carolina and Toronto FC too. But the big news is Greenville Triumph will be hosting Union Omaha. It'll be, I guess, a rematch of the would-have-been final back in October. That game will be on ESPN2 in the league's first national TV match, Sunday, May 16th. Definitely don't want to miss that. Greenville and Omaha, the top 2 teams in the standings from 2020. And speaking of Greenville Triumph, they are going to be losing a couple of their big names from their first 2 seasons. Jake Keegan, who made 38 appearances for the club, scored 14 goals. He has gone off to Forward Madison with Carl Craig. coming into Madison. He has taken one of the best goal scorers in USL League One out of Greenville and brought him to Madison. Another Greenville Triumph player is Carlos Gomez. 36 appearances for him, 7 goals. He struggled with injuries throughout the end of the 2019 season, but he is a really good player that produced some great moments in Greenville and hoping to do the same in Madison. And then going the other way from Madison to Greenville is the king from Kingston, Don Smart. He'll be joining John Harkes in Greenville, South Carolina this season. He was a stalwart for forward Madison and Darryl Shore. 43 appearances, 9 goals in 2 seasons, plenty of assists as well, and he brought some flair on the pitch for the Mingos. Another player, a new face in a new place, is Neil Vinyals. He's been with Tormenta for 4 years, even before they joined USL League One. But in these last 2 seasons, 34 appearances for Vinyals. He'll be taking his talents to Richmond, Virginia, joining up with Darren Sawatsky. He can score some goals, Neil Vinyals, and he'll be looking to do that once again in Richmond here in 2021. And then finally, Azad Liadi in his first season in League One a season ago with FC Tucson. He has been signed by Tormenta. Ian Cameron, we talked to him last week. He had a lot of good things to say about Azad Liadi, and he's excited about what he can bring at the number 9 position for his Tormenta side. A lot of news around USL League One, and they are adopting the new rule of the concussion substitute. So, of course, there are 5 substitutes. That was implemented a season ago. But this year, if a player is suspected to be concussed, teams will be permitted up to 2 additional substitutions. And if those substitutions are used, the opposing team is awarded an additional sub for every concussion substitute the other team uses. It's very complicated, but we swear it is not too crazy, and it does make a lot of sense. It's being implemented in the NWSL, MLS, and in the USL Championship as well. So USL League One testing this out here in 2021. Well, upcoming the rest of this month, we are getting this League One season off with plenty of games. It'll be 2 more games next week and then 3 more games the week after that. We're slowly building you up. You can't have too much League One too quickly. So New England will have their home opener and Tormenta will have theirs next week before Richmond, Omaha, and North Texas open up on the 24th. But that's not all. There's still plenty more to come. These are the rest of the home openers. Greenville hosting North Texas, a rematch of 2019's final on May 1st, and the return to Breese Stevens Field on May 15th with Ford Madison hosting North Carolina FC. A lot of good matchups to come down the road here in League One. Well, we're building up to the second half from Fort Lauderdale. Highlights, stats, and the second half right after this. Highlights from the first 45 minutes between Fort Lauderdale and New England Revolution 2, the opener of this 2021 League One season, and it was a lot of one-way traffic going the way of Fort Lauderdale. George Acosta has been great in the midfield. Noah Allen has been great on the ball as well. This was in the opening minute. Sean Hundahl, a header there at the near post. Then on the free kick, George Acosta setting one towards goal, taken by Joe Rice. And overall, this has been a pretty dominant performance from Fort Lauderdale, but New England did have a couple of chances. This ball trying to just get in behind for Ryan Sierakowski. Haven't called his name a whole lot to go along with Justin Rennicks up top for New England. Back the other way, Noah Allen finds himself on the ball again. Another cross before this one was cleared away. So far, 9 open play crosses for Fort Lauderdale through the first 45 minutes to go along with 6 corners as well. And they favor those in-swingers from Acosta and from Noah Allen. This was the best chance, though, of the first 45 minutes as Kona just does a good job just to get this wide. Noah Allen's shot glances off the far post, and Sean Hundahl cannot steer it back on frame. And that is why we stay at 0-0. Well, we talked about that game between Omaha and Greenville, and here are some of the highlights. What a game this was back at the end of the year in 2020, but in just a couple of weeks on May 16th, 4 p.m. Eastern, ESPN2, these two teams will go at it again from Legacy Early College in Greenville, South Carolina. And this will be a really fun one. John Harkes against Jay Mims, the final we never got. And look at this goal at the end. Well, there were some chances here at the end, and a great save by Dallas J. Eventually, it was Omaha coming away with the 2-1 win. Looks like a couple of subs readying to come on. Cesar Cuellar will come on. He is one of the 2 halftime substitutes, along with Braxton Najib. So it'll be Acosta and Azcona coming off at halftime. Those are the 2 players loaned down to this League One side, Fort Lauderdale, and we are underway in this second half. Still looking for that opening goal, and we'll see how things now change without Azcona and Acosta on the pitch. They will be preparing for, I'm sure, next week's home opener for Inter Miami as they welcome in the LA Galaxy here to Dry Pink Stadium. I'm Josh Eastern. Thanks for being with us on this League One opener. Beautiful night in Fort Lauderdale as New England Revolution 2 comes in to take on Fort Lauderdale CF. There are the subs. Cesar Cuellar on for Azcona. Braxton Najib coming on for George Acosta. Acosta was really good in that first half in the midfield there for Fort Lauderdale. Cuellar made 2 appearances a season ago, just 32 minutes. Spent 2019 with the under-17 side, made 15 appearances for them. While Braxton Najib, 6 appearances in 2020 with Birmingham Legion in the USL Championship. He is an academy-registered player, just 18 years old for Najib, 18 years old for Cuellar as well. So the average age actually goes down just a fraction with the 21-year-old Acosta coming off. We showed you Alex Morel at halftime. Of course, he and Ethan Vanacore Decker tying for the assists champion a season ago. And Alex Morel, he's the biggest trivia question in League One these days. Who scored the first goal in each of the first 2 seasons? And it's Alex Morel, and as things stand, he is still alive to score the first goal of League One. But that means we'd have to go through, in all, 3 0-0 draws to get there. And just from a neutral perspective, I hope we get to see some goals between now and when Alex Morel next takes the field. Flag up for offside. New England coming out of that halftime locker room trying to just gain some time on the ball. They didn't have a whole lot of it in that first half. About 56% of it going to Fort Lauderdale. A lot of it was dangerous possession as well. According to our Opta stats, close to 50% of play has happened in the middle third of the field in this game. It's a good reason why it is still 0-0. There's Luis Zamudio coming off his line just to knock this back downfield. His second year in League One, last year with North Texas. And the stats will also tell you that Fort Lauderdale's midfield in that first half was absolutely tremendous. And getting into the attack, New England Revolution 2 only used the middle third of the field just about 12% of the time, favoring the left side over 50%. A lot of that had to do with George Acosta. He played a tremendous 45 minutes for Darren Powell's side. Also have to give some credit to Joshua Saavedra, who's in there, number 14. The player that first half for Fort Lauderdale might be the man who just threw the ball in, Noah Allen. Nearly opening the scoring with a shot that rang off the right post. Fujiwara. Oh, good ball in behind. Might this be the opening goal? Big save from Zamudio. Haven't called his name almost at all. Just the second shot of the night for New England Revolution 2, but Zamudio comes up with a big save. And a bright start to this second half. Here's Fujiwara, centering pass, Sierakowski! New England strikes first. Against the run of play from the first half, New England Revolution 2 strike first, and it's Ryan Sierakowski, a goal on his club debut. Fort Lauderdale had all of the traffic going their way in the first half, but look at this ball in behind. Fujiwara doing the hard work to win the ball back. Now that was the big save there from Zamudio first, and then coming down that left side with Spalding, Rivera just slipping this in. It was Fujiwara again, and Sierakowski just burying that with his left foot. 1-0 to New England. Well, Clint P.A. must have lit a fire under his team in that halftime locker room. Ryan Sierakowski scoring on his debut, the McHenry, Illinois native. Played his college soccer for Damon Rensing at Michigan State. Drafted 23rd overall by the Portland Timbers in the 2019 draft, spending last year in the USL Championship, made 14 appearances and scored just 1 goal. And now getting on the score sheet tonight for New England Revolution 2. Well, what a way to start this second half. And now how does Fort Lauderdale respond? We talked about how good the midfield was in that first half for Fort Lauderdale. George Acosta had a lot to do with that. He was replaced by Cesar Cuellar at halftime, along with Braxton Najib. The big talking point from Darren Powell this week was, if we play with the correct intensity, we'll be successful. Use that word intensity quite a bit. And to make sure they were switched on from minute 1. It was a bit of a lackadaisical start to this second half. I give a lot of credit to what New England did as well. They came out, they wanted to possess the ball, and they did quite a good job at doing so. And eventually turned into that opening goal. Last year when they got on that score sheet first, Pretty hard to beat, just 1 defeat out of 7 times they did so. Clint PA has to be happy with the start to this second half, but now how does Fort Lauderdale respond? Rosansky a foul from behind. He had 2 talking tos in the first half, 2 strikes. Yep, you can see Elvis Osmanovic counting on his fingers. 3 strikes and you're in the book. So the first yellow card issued to Jake Rosansky tonight. Going right through the back of Sean Hundahl. Now a free kick. And New England setting up that line right at the top of the box. Najib and Allen. It'll be Najib. Never got past that line of New England. Here's Cuellar. Allen towards the near post, and Hundahl was just looking for a little flick and maybe just a little bit behind that ball. Rice was standing strong. Now he tries to spark a counterattack. Renix brings this down. Fujiwara keeps possession and distributes wide for Presley. Presley, good whip on that ball over the head of Renix and just put out of play. Christian Liu Young not taking any chances there. Corner kick coming from New England. I don't know what it is about this goal off to the right side of our camera position and seeing all the action so far in 55 minutes. Rosansky whips this in. Big header coming from Modesto Mendez. All quickly sent back in. Zamudio bobbled it for a moment. Was able to possess and now looks to distribute quickly. Going straight over the top. Najib making the run. And a diving header by Sean O'Hearn. Back to Joe Rice in goal. Joe Rice, who won 2020 Save of the Year. A really good save against Madison on September 4th. No Buck on the turn is taken down from behind. Joshua Saavedra. Another look at it coming from behind. Just clipping the heels. A little forearm in the back as well. Rosansky. Here's Spalding. Rivera keeps it moving for Spalding. He'll go for goal himself. Hands on head as he sent that one wide. Getting himself into another good position down that left side. Ryan Spalding continuing his run there. Rivera did a good job to take that defender with him. Just slipped it in behind. Zamudio happy to see that one go wide of his goal. It's a good play there from Zamudio, even off the goal kick. It has looked like so far Fort Lauderdale wants to play out of the back. New England was committing numbers forward there and just decided to go over the top, and they do get a throw-in here close to the attacking third. Like sometimes you see teams that are so committed to playing out of the back. I mean, it can be good at times, of course. But sometimes when it's not there, Just have to take your medicine and send it downfield. Now Harden towards the end line. Cross towards Hundal at the back post. Header goes wide. Another great opportunity on the doorstep for Fort Lauderdale, and not able to convert. And here the crowd just trying to urge them on. They know the chances will come in this second half. And this was another good build-up again. Drew Harden just clipping this up to the back post. And it was Hundal who couldn't believe it once again. Another free header for the Canadian. This ball will stay in, I think, a little bit longer than Dooley's had anticipated. Another throw-in coming for Fort Lauderdale. Harden. Ambitious effort into the stands. Looks like another sub coming on. It'll be Roberto Poplawski coming on, the 23-year-old Argentine. He will replace Sean Hundal. So Poplawski, who's on a season-long loan from Estudiantes de La Plata in Argentina. Getting a chance here for about a half hour to try to influence things. We'll see how that changes the shape as Sean Hundal was playing in that number 9 position up top. Cross coming in, looking for Caputo, who might take that number 9 position now, right through the middle. Set up originally in that 4-4-3. Now Bach coming right through the middle, taken down from behind, advantage being played. Cutting in field, Rivera looking for Sirakowski at the back post, too much air under that. And now a talking to with Drew Harden as he took down Buck when advantage was played. Cuellar coming into the attack. Now Allen keeps it moving for Caputo. Back for Allen, onto his left foot, shot is blocked. Sean O'Hearn getting his body in the way. Caputo is laying this off for Allen. Maybe that first touch let him down just a little bit, a bit heavy. Now Braxton Najib will swing this in. Another in-swinger coming for Fort Lauderdale. First corner of this second half. Ball whipped in. Dooley's gone up to head it away. Big presence in that back line. Poplawski slices that one out of play. On the road, can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC, North America's only 24/7 source of soccer radio, featuring Ray Hudson, Tony Miola, and Rodney Marsh, as well as a brand new USL show coming Tuesday, April 20th. Fans of the USL can now listen to the best matches of the week, along with action from MLS, the Premier League, and the UEFA Champions League. Sirius XM, channel 157. Here comes New England again. Rivera plays this wide. Spalding's cross. It was knocked down by Zamudio at the near post. A lot of pace behind that one from Spalding. And a corner kick coming for Revs 2. Rosansky will swing this in. Into the middle, too tall for Dulis. Can Presley track this down? He will get there. And that hard work earns him a throw-in. Presley's cross. And it back into the middle. Harden trying to clear it away. A little give and go. Now some space through the middle. Looking to get this wide for Caputo. Trying to force a pass there through the middle. It just didn't come off. Renix. Little burst of speed. Trying to turn the corner. Justin Renix. Might he do this himself? Still Justin Renix. His shot is wide. He had a couple of opportunities in the middle. Would have taken a really good pass to pull that off. Once he got by Harden, I think he wanted to do this all himself. And it looked like Rivera's run kind of ran into the path of his. And that will be the last we see of Justin Renix. It's just over an hour tonight before he is replaced by Michael Sekulius. So the Hoosier will come off and the Virginia Cavalier, or at least future Cavalier, will come on. Sekulius committed to play college soccer at Virginia in the fall. Sekulius, who made his pro debut against Ford Madison on September 4th. So he gets about 25 minutes, number 52 in white. Saavedra on the turn. Right through the middle. Cuellar trying to chase after this. Presley gets to it first. Cuellar. Oh, he had the overlapping run of Allen, just couldn't find him. But Cuellar does a good job to win it right back. Oh, good run. Najib coming into the box. His cross deflected. An appeal for handball. And Rice will eventually pick this one up. Ball played in behind. Cuellar gets to it first. Low cross taken by Dulis, and he's fouled. Fans, follow your club and the rest of USL League One all season long on ESPN Plus, home of the USL, MLS, Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Join more than 12 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch League One live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. Here's Allen. Another misplaced pass as Allen puts this out of play. Powell trying to find the right formula for these final 22 minutes. They had so much success in that first half, but just never found that opening goal. Will they be able to find one here in the latter stages of this season opener? Poplawski, good distribution. Najib. Gets this wide again. Liu Young, his cross, headed away by O'Hearn. Good hustle play by Allen to keep that ball alive. Take a look at the shots, and there's a big challenge there. That's Rosansky, who's already on a yellow. Saavedra going to ground. That was a big push in the back. Rosansky has to be careful here, going down to 10 men. We just saw the shot discrepancy. Even though New England has the lead, Fort Lauderdale has created plenty throughout these 70 minutes. They don't want to lose a man here. See him kind of sizing that one up, but Saavedra went down in a heap. Najib and Allen stand over this set piece. 20 minutes to go. Time running out here on Fort Lauderdale. Noah Allen. Send us that far side. Out for a throw-in. And it'll be Francisco Raggio coming on. Joshua Saavedra, who just went down a moment ago, he will be the one replaced. Raggio, the 18-year-old, 10 appearances, 3 starts. That earned him a pro contract with Fort Lauderdale CF for this 2021 campaign. He'll get 20 minutes to try to impress Darren Powell. So that's 4 subs used for Fort Lauderdale in 2 windows. And only the 1 sub so far for Revs 2. Remember, halftime does not count as one of those windows. That's where Darren Powell used 2 of his 4. Najib. There's 2 players in the same spot. Najib will take this back. Deflected shot comes to Raggio. His first touches of the ball, and he sends it over the bar. Right onto the field and right into the fray. Francisco Raggio. All started down that right side, but it was Liu Young and Najib who almost had some miscommunication there as to who to take that ball, and eventually was Najib who had a shot deflect right to Raggio, and his shot went out of play. He scored 3 goals in 2019 with the under-19 side. Has yet to score a pro goal yet, though, the 18-year-old. Stay connected with the USL community and create your own fan experience with the USL app. Stay up to date on all the latest scores, news, and highlights around the league. Download the USL app now on Apple and Google Play stores. Knocked ahead. Good build-up play here. It's Raggio again. Cross all the way through. Nobody there at the back post. Caputo was coming down the middle. There's a lot of space down that right side, but nobody in a black jersey to get there. Fujiwara, his distribution from the central midfield has been really good tonight for New England. Spalding trying to squeeze it through for Noel Buck. Rivera on the turn. Rivera cutting in field. Rivera deflects down. Sakulia scores! Offside. The margins must have been tight here on this near side. And Michael Sakulias nearly had his first pro goal. That will have to wait for another time. Here's Allen. Seems like he's been the go-to guy tonight for Fort Lauderdale on trying to create opportunities along with Christian Liu Young. Good ball in. That had good whip on it, and O'Hearn was taking no chances. Just stabs this out for a throw-in. We're hearing there's a couple of subs now coming for New England. Here is the chance, and watch Sakulis at the bottom of the screen. Ooh, really close, as it was Modesto Mendez who nearly kept him on side. A couple of subs now coming. It'll be Morris Matthews coming on, Manny Silva, along with Dennis Ramirez. So another debut coming. Dennis Ramirez, the 19-year-old, signed on March 11th. And Hikaru Fujiwara also one to come off. Damian Rivera the other. And Jake Rosansky was the third one to come off on that yellow card, and he's been walking a tightrope, it seems. So Matthews, Ramirez, and Silva on. Rivera, Fujiwara, and Rosansky come off. Long throw and looking for Caputo. He gets dragged down. Osmanovic just play on, and a throw in to Fort Lauderdale. Into the final quarter of an hour, can Fort Lauderdale find the equalizer? They had all the momentum in that first half. And Cuellar unable to possess in the 18-yard box. And back to New England as they look to try to close this one out. Thanks for joining us here on this Saturday night from Drive Pink Stadium in Fort Lauderdale. I'm Josh Eastern, happy to be bringing you the League One opener, along with our tremendous crew. Ryan Sierakowski in the 51st minute, able to score the lone goal of the night and the first goal in year 3 here in USL League One. Caputo, he's fouled. Free kick, Fort Lauderdale. Had a lot of free kicks in this area of the field. This time they're going to go quick, or at least trying to go quick. Ball was still moving. Lou Young. Couldn't get by the two white jerseys, and Spalding comes away. And he's pushed right in the back, slowing down that counterattack. Seems like Elvis Osmanovic has been a bit reluctant to go to his pocket tonight, letting things play. I think he's done a good job overall. Rosansky had those 3 strikes and you're in the book ordeal. And he was eventually taken off by Clint P.A. before he received a different color card. Sierakowski just clipping at the heels of Poplawski. Dooley's will win this race. Knock it back to Joe Rice. Darren Powell, when he looks at the stat sheet and sees his team had 15 shots, he's scratching his head a little bit, but only one of them has been on target tonight. There's been a lot of chances that have gone just wide. Of course, Noah Allen also hitting the post. But 4 times as many crosses into the box for Fort Lauderdale than New England tonight, 16-4. Another cross, make that 17 open play crosses tonight. Good ball moving here, Raggio. Raggio off the post again! Cuellar into the middle, deflects all the way through. Poplawski will recover on the far side. The second time the woodwork has been hit tonight. Appeal for handball just outside the box. 10 minutes to go. Fort Lauderdale really putting the pressure on. And Elvis Osmanovic will say this is just outside the box. Might he have a quick chat with his AR? Here's another look at it. 61, no buck. Definitely outside the box. I think there's no question about that. And Elvis Osmanovic was all over it. We are getting word that there is lightning in the area, and we will go into a weather delay here in Fort Lauderdale. So that's at least 30 minutes that we will have to pause things. New England leads 1-0, but we should have a fiery final 10 minutes. Stay with us after the weather delay. It's Fort Lauderdale 0, it's New England 1. We are just about set to come back from our weather delay. It's been about a 30-minute weather delay, and we have about 10 minutes to go from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, in Dry Pink Stadium. It's New England Revolution 2, 1, Fort Lauderdale 0. And here is how we got to this 1-0 scoreline. It was all the way back in the 50th minute after New England came out really strong out of the halftime locker room. Started down that left side. Ryan Spalding has played a really bright game tonight. But Hikaru Fujiwara setting up Ryan Sierakowski on his club debut. Able to slot one past Luis Zamudio. And that got Sierakowski and New England on the score sheet tonight. And just as we left you, and here in the 81st minute as we're about to resume play, there was a handball just outside the box. Noel Buck, see number 61, bringing that down with his right arm. And luckily for him, he was just outside the penalty box. Elvis Osmanovic, tonight's referee, was all over it. And he signaled for a free kick just outside the area. So you can see him there on the left-hand part of your screen. That is where they will restart as all the players back out on the field. Both teams have made 4 substitutions in 2 windows, so still one more sub available for either side. We're hearing there is another sub coming on. You can see him there at the bottom of your screen. It is Cole Dewhurst coming on. He will make his pro debut tonight. The 17-year-old out of Beverly, Massachusetts, replaces the goal scorer Ryan Sierakowski. So the 17-year-old Dewhurst, who is committed to Providence, getting set to come on here for the final 10 or so minutes, and we'll see how much stoppage time we get at the end of this 90 minutes as well. But right as we left you, this game was really coming to a fever pitch as Fort Lauderdale was looking for that equalizer. They were really pressing hard. A lot of good chances. A shot that hit the post. Francisco Raggio has been good since coming on. They've not been able to find that equalizer quite yet. So officially, the referee stopped play at 80-40, which means we'll restart here in the 81st minute. All the players now in that penalty area, and right off the bat, a free kick for Fort Lauderdale to restart play. Noah Allen, who has been a bright spot tonight for Fort Lauderdale, stands over this, along with Braxton Najib, who was a halftime substitute. Elvis Osmanovic making sure everybody's okay, setting the watches. And here we go, back underway. And here's the free kick. Noah Allen will take this himself. He'll curl one towards goal, and wasn't too far away, but not testing Joe Rice. So 9 minutes plus stoppage time to go in this season opening match in the League One season. I'm Josh Eastern. Thanks for sticking with us even through the weather delay. Fort Lauderdale and New England. Both of these teams also in action. Next week, New England will welcome in Richmond at home to Gillette Stadium. While Fort Lauderdale will travel to South Georgia Tormenta. Our first look at Ian Cameron's side next week, along with Darren Sawatsky, and another return to Foxborough. So that sub of Dewhurst coming on, the final substitute of the night of the allotted 5. Of course, the concussion substitutes in effect as well if needed. Poplawski gets it out wide. Christian Lujan. Ahead for Harden. Good first touch to find the space. A little bit too heavy. And out for a goal kick. The delay was for lightning in the area, but we're seeing a little bit of rain now starting to come down. The southeast part of the United States has gotten some weather here this afternoon. If you've been watching some other sporting events on this Saturday. Played ahead, Caputo. As the seasons in, at least the soccer seasons in Europe coming to a close here in the next couple months, the soccer seasons in the United States and North America just kicking into high gear. The NWSL starting this weekend, their Challenge Cup. MLS comes back next weekend, and of course the USL Championship slowly after that, a couple of games on April the 24th. Lou Young wins his side a corner kick. About 6 minutes plus stoppage time to go now. Allen, the in-swinger. Headed towards goal, asking for a deflection off of Presley's head. Mendez was there at the back post. They've tried to work that a few times tonight. Allen swinging in towards that back post for Mendez. It has not come off quite yet. It's a big cliche to say, but this really has been a game of two halves. Fort Lauderdale almost completely dominant in that first 45 minutes. New England only really had one good opportunity. Might have even just been a half chance. Well, Fort Lauderdale really bossed the game. They dominated the midfield. And a lot of that had to do with the play of George Acosta, who was subbed off at halftime along with Edison Azcona, the two loanees from Inter Miami for this game today. I think come the second half, the opening 10 or so minutes absolutely dominated. Joe Rice coming way off his line. He got to the ball first, and then Cuellar went down, and he is still down. You could see Rice kind of break at the last second. He thought he had to get to this ball. He did it plenty of time, and Cuellar was running full speed, just trying to get out of the way, and took the brunt of that challenge from Joe Rice. So the rain's starting to come down at Dry Pink Stadium. Trying to play through the lines there. Into a wide position for Lou Young. Spalding has been sprawling himself out on the field in this past few minutes, cutting out some crosses from that right side. Another deflected cross. Zamudio knocks this back downfield. 3 minutes plus stoppage time to go. I'm hearing there will be one more Fort Lauderdale sub who will get it right here. It'll be Frank Nodarce coming on. Abel Caputo will be replaced. Both coaches have used all 5 substitutes here in game number 1. Clint PA's side just trying to hold on, move atop the League One table. For the 2nd straight season, Fort Lauderdale hosting the season opener in League One, and also looking like they will come up on the losing end. They still have time to change that. So Nodarse comes on. He did make his USL League One debut in that season opener against Greenville a year ago. Made 7 appearances overall. Listed as a defender, but he might just be a big body that Darren Powell wants to put on and just stick up front here for these last few minutes. We've seen that across the league, i.e. Josh Phelps, who can play all over the place. Too heavy for the run of Noah Allen. Noel Buck getting his first appearance and his pro debut tonight. He was one player that Clint PA pointed out to us in our chat this week. He said, of course, he's young at just 16 years of age, but has shown a lot of promise and good slow progression. He has slotted into that midfield quite well tonight for Revs 2. The pitch maybe a little bit more slick than we've seen. A little bit of rain coming down now. That ball just skipping right out of play. As we showed you before the game, that was about almost 2.5 hours ago. The start of the season for New England, it was not very good. But so far, so good as we get into 3 minutes of additional stoppage time here at the end of this 90 minutes. Raggio now will send this in. Good whip on that ball. Couldn't find a head of a black jersey. Flipped in again by Poplawski. Nodarse just trying to climb the back there of Connor Presley. And a free kick awarded to New England. There in that close-up shot, you can see the rain starting to really come down now. About 90 seconds left. Raggi will have to go a little bit farther back. Noah Allen, there you can see all the water on Clint PA's shirt. See all the white jerseys back behind the ball. Diving header by Nodarse goes wide. I'm sure Rice will take his time to put this back in play. Into the final minute of play tonight from Fort Lauderdale. Pretty interesting game overall, with Fort Lauderdale really bossing the game in the first half and New England finding that goal in the 50th minute. That might be enough to get across the line tonight and get those 3 points here on the road. Throw-in coming for Fort Lauderdale. Now have to pretty much go the length of the field now. Some of those fresh legs. Here's Harden, maybe one last chance, one last rush for Fort Lauderdale. Here's Allen. Cuellar goes down. Raggio, throw-in coming. He'll go quickly. This one knocked up into the air. And it'll be a throw-in going New England's way. There will be no throw-in. There's the final whistle. New England Revolution 2 win on opening night in League One. A 1-0 victory for Revs 2 on the road tonight. And a tough home defeat for Darren Powell's Fort Lauderdale CF. They held off Fort Lauderdale through the weather delay, and Fort Lauderdale had really good momentum right before that weather delay that might have stunted that just a little bit. But in the end, New England got the job done. A gutsy win for Clint PA's side. And they start the season with 3 points. Here is how we got to this final scoreline with our full-time highlights. This was back in the first half. Just a couple of half chances for New England Revolution 2 was really all they got. It was really on the other side for Fort Lauderdale, where they really found some joy in front of goal, and in that final third just couldn't find eventually that final finish. That was the first time they hit the post, and then it was Hundal who couldn't put the redirect back on frame. That would have surely made it 1-0 to Fort Lauderdale. But then come the second half, it all started through this man, Ryan Spalding. A bright game for him at left back. Fujiwara gets the assist. Sierakowski bags the goal. And then back the other way. Fort Lauderdale would try to find that equalizer. Cuellar was good when he came on. Noah Allen played a pretty good 90 minutes as well at left back. Hundal had a lot of chances in front of goal that he just could not put away. Once again, it was Spalding down that left side. Rivera creating things as well. Spalding, he wanted the goal of his own, just couldn't find that far corner. And his play continued. Caputo would find Allen, who got himself in another attacking opportunity and had a shot blocked. And this was a good chance as well. These two players almost running into each other, Liu Young and Naja, but it would fall for Raggio. This was his first touch of the game, and he just couldn't put it on frame. Great opportunity for Fort Lauderdale there. And here are the final stats. And if you look at these final stats, you wouldn't really think that New England would be the team to win, but just the one shot on target for Fort Lauderdale, and that pretty much did them in the end. New England Revolution 2 took care of their chances and able to finish this match with 3 points and start the season with 3 points at the top of the League One table as well. And don't forget, May 16th, it'll be Union Omaha versus Greenville Triumph, ESPN2. Don't miss this one. We'll be talking about this a lot in the lead up to May 16th, but this should be a fun one from Greenville, South Carolina, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Be sure you are watching. Mike Watts, Stephen Kerr will be on the call. That'll be a fun one to enjoy. So, Year 3 is off with a 1-0 win for New England Revolution 2. They come down to South Florida and leave with 3 points. The League One season just getting started, and that's going to do it tonight from Fort Lauderdale. For our entire crew, I'm Josh Eastern saying so long from Dry Pink Stadium. We'll talk to you next week.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.